What is going on, people of the internet? I fooled you. Y'all are waiting until the very last second. Man, I came right in there. There's no such thing as a technical difficulty. Not when you have a real deal marketing legend coming on your show. That's right. Y'all are in for it today, boy. I promise you that. My name is Ryan Baggott. I'm the host of the ChatBot Podcast, and I'm glad you're here with us. For those of you that are joining me for the a multiple visit here, thanks. For those of you I'm siphoning from PMQ, I'm getting you guys welcome. Now it is time for me to welcome one of the biggest influences in my life professionally this year that I've met. One of the marketing legends, ladies and gentlemen, specific to what I do in restaurants. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome the founder and publisher of PMQ Pizza Magazine, Mr. Steve Green. What's going on, man? How's that for?
I would be embarrassed, but I'm equally happy and proud to be with the king of bots himself.
The king of bots.
Ryan Baggott. So,
dude, thank you.
I'm here, and I'm here. We converse a lot. We stay in touch.
I bug him all the time.
You're doing a lot of great stuff, and but this is your show, and I won't interview this time. You can. I guess you can interview me. But I do want to present some questions. In fact, I've told our PMQ audience if they have any questions about bots or specific marketing to text me, and I'll let you know if I get anything.
Let's do it. Well, dude, thank you again so much for being here. We do talk quite frequently, as I do with Ingrid, the marketing gal over there, who's just phenomenal. I try to move fast, but you guys just move super hyper speed because, for example, she's crushing it with what we'll talk about later. But man, you just see, here's an opportunity. We need to do video. Let's do video. Let's pivot. And here I am thinking I'm some awesome forward-thinking marketing guy. I'm like, boom, these guys that have been around the block, look what they're doing. They're doing a podcast. They're doing videos all the time. And I'm glad to be a guest on that show. But it inspired me, and it inspired the ChatBot Podcast. And that's part of the reason I'm here. So thank you, man. But tell the audience who don't know you, who you are and why you're so important, because you are important, especially to me and pizza lovers around the world.
Well, I hope I'm a little important to the people that read our magazine. We have 40,000 readers that own 75,000 pizzerias and interact with 90% of the pizza population. Actually, it's 84%. 2 weeks ago, they quoted us on the show Card Sharks. One of their trivia questions was, according to PMQ, Pizza Magazine's report, what percentage of Americans ate pizza during the last month? And I thought it's 93%. That's what I was thinking in my head. But actually, the correct answer, which actually I had written in the Pizza Power report, was 84%. So I was off a little bit.
Is it live?
It's live.
Jeez. Oh, yeah, we're live. I don't know who that is. Is that Brian?
Brian, come in here and say hello.
Come here, Brian. This guy, listen, that's just going to get me.
Trying to make sure we're going live. So,
yep.
That's getting me more street cred.
Okay.
Love the mask, by the way.
Go back into your hole.
Is that an official PMQ mask, man? What do I got to do to get one of those masks, bro?
Yeah,
those are awesome.
Brian had some made up.
I'm sure he did. It's the voice of pizza. Isn't that what someone said in the chat the other day? That was so cool. I was like, yeah, I know that guy. Let me associate and siphon from his audience a little bit. I need to get him on the show one day. But today, it's all about you, man. So, why pizza? That's one thing other than it tastes good and it's awesome and it's my favorite food. Shout out to Gyro Track who basically give us pizza every Tuesday when I visit. But why pizza, man? Is it just you love it more than me? You think that's what it is?
Well, I do.
I do. Yes. Great answer.
I'm not the quickest guy. I don't come back real quick, but
You're a
I'll
chess
come back.
player.
I
You're a
always
chess
come
player,
back.
and then you checkmate everybody, including me.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, the reason the reason I got into pizza was incidentally. Uh, I I noticed when Domino's Pizzas. I used to publish a magazine, a little TV magazine that had cable listings back in the 70s in Oxford, Mississippi, which is a college town. And we had millions of pizza stores there. And when this new Domino's pizza store opened, I thought another pizza store that's not going to make it, and they killed it. They were doing incredibly well, and they ended up advertising on our back cover, and I got really interested in them. And they put an ad in the paper saying that they were looking for somebody to open up pizzerias in Mississippi and Louisiana, where this franchisee was. So I answered the call, and I really thought the company was great. And I was amazed the first time I walked into a Domino's pizza store, and I just saw the efficiency of how they made pizzas and how everybody was so into it. Everybody was running to their cars with the pizza, driving carefully. But I was so impressed that I thought I'd like to work for these guys. So I got a job with them as a marketing expert to open up pizza stores, and I sold my magazine to somebody else, and they took that over. And then I loved the idea of pizza. The first assignment they gave me was to open up the first Domino's pizza store in New Orleans, and there wasn't any awareness level of New Orleans at all. So I went in there and I did a bunch of common sense things that I thought any MBA would do, and somebody that was just doing what you're supposed to do. I ended up breaking the national sales record for Domino's.
No way. Man, well, now, let me hold up really quick because man, you're gonna blow some people away, and I know I'm gonna have a lot of people on my end watching what you call traditional, easy, no-brainer strategies, and we'll talk about the more advanced stuff later. What are some of those more traditional ways? Because as someone who is a hospitality major, I know hospitality, I know hotels and restaurants, I know marketing, what they taught me, but that was a side note. The traditional marketing methods I'm not as familiar with, and neither is my audience. So what are some of the more traditional ways? Because we're so in like code and building stuff, and so what are some more of the traditional, like just tried and true methods that have just allowed you to succeed with Domino's and other brands that you have?
Well, I think it all comes down to looking at your market, look at your store, and customize a program for where you are and where you want to go. So what I did is I adopted best practices that were already in existence for pizza operators. And those were smart. They made a lot of sense. The most important tools they had were door hanging, direct mail, and box topping, because those were three forms of communication that went directly to your customers. There was no waste. You weren't advertising outside of your territory that you were focusing on, and the box top information went to just regular customers that you wanted to bring back with information. So we employed all of those, but in New Orleans we also had the owner of the company gave me a big budget. I think it was a $20,000 budget. So he wanted to make a statement. He wanted to prove, at the time, Domino's was only in campus locations and military bases. That's where most of their business was coming from. There were a few good residential stores, but it didn't look like Domino's could grow into the consumer market. So he wanted to prove that Domino's was viable in a consumer market. So he gave me $20,000 to spend, and I did a research. I actually was in a hotel room, and I called a couple of hundred people and asked them what radio station they listened to. And I figured out that there was a really good station that served our market, that the rates were cheaper. And so I made some good media buys. We did direct mail. We did box topping. We even had some visuals. We had a bicycle built for 6 that we rode around the area to get some attention. So we also had these cups, these Domino's cups, and we would put menus in them, and we would pass them out to people crossing the street in front of the store. And we would also go to we had a pickup truck full of people that you could actually drive around, people in the back of a pickup truck then, and they would do door hanging, and they would be passing out cups to people, Domino's cups, and with offers to call that night. So we saturated the market. We sort of made it really flammable. We put in direct mail. We wanted to hit people over the head probably 3 times within a week in order to really get them to notice Domino's. And then we had the #1 guy in New Orleans, Cajun Ken Cooper at the time.
That's a fun name.
A popular station, and he came and did a remote, and he interviewed me a couple of times about what specials were going on, and he would one time he said, "Okay, now anybody who wants a pizza, call whatever the number was," and the lines just lit up one all the way across the line. We had we timed it so that by Friday night we had to pull the phones at one time. But,
Golly.
But we ended up just going over $20,000, and that was enough to earn a Rolex watch from Tom Monahan to the manager of the store. And subsequently, I earned 10 Rolex watches during my year and a half at the job by opening stores for people.
Quit playing. 10 Rollies, man. 10 of them.
Watches. I've got one for my own store that I did, but 9 of them went to other people.
That is amazing, dude.
Yeah, but in how you did it is you worked hard, right? And I didn't have to worry about the operations. I was only doing marketing. Having been an operator now, I always think if you're going to have a marketing person, you ought to have somebody that's not connected to operations if you can. Because
that's good advice. Yeah, that is great advice.
I tell you,
as usual.
Good advice, because what happens when it gets busy, they get called into operations, and then you lose your front man, your maitre d', the face of your store during the busiest times. And that's sometimes when you need a good, calm face, somebody that's that can greet customers or give out special offers, things like that.
Makes so much sense to me. Man, that is some knowledge dropping, dude. And Domino's, it's funny that so basically, in essence, you almost bet against Domino's. You said, they're not going to do anything. And then you went on to be like the king of Domino's. And, it's funny. Another marketing guy that I watch and I've met, Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V. Are you hip to Gary V? Do you know that guy? The internet guy? He curses a lot.
I think you've mentioned.
Most of his fans, we do mention him all the time because he's like so cool. But he bet against Uber. So as many times as we can be right as marketing gurus or just dudes that make predictions on things, we can't get it right all the time. And I think that's interesting that you bet against them, but you came out and just slayed it with them. Another question that I have before we get into these other questions that we're getting here, I think that people are going to like this one. What is the toughest marketing challenge that you faced in your career thus far? That's a tough one, right?
The way I would answer that would be, it would be easier for me to answer it by identifying the best marketing opportunities. I think marketing is the art of sort of an architecture of how do you make things work. And so I don't know of any marketing challenges. There's always a way around it.
Always a way around it. I love
Yeah,
that.
whenever you do want to be able to ride the wave of new technology. When I first started a direct mail business for the pizza industry back in the 80s, the fax machine had just come out. So we used that really heavily. That was the biggest technology. And since we were new, when the fax machines came out, we were able to ride that wave and get a lot of good feedback. And then when the internet came along, I thought, wow, this is great. We established the think tank in 1998 on our website, and that ended up growing into a huge community of people. And then when video came out, we used that. I can't think of any. What's the challenge that you can think of?
Well, for me, I think
you got me stumped on that one.
For me, the challenge is to always get better and optimize, because as things change, I guess, what worked last year.
Yeah.
Even if it does work the same this coming year, the following year, the price will, at least you can bet, have increased. And so if you're not prepared for that, then the numbers just might not add up. And so for me, it's fluctuation of cost. It's fighting for attention is a huge deal for me, as much of an expert as I see myself, and as much success as I'm able to bring my clients. And that's the important thing. It's not, it's achieving their goals. It's an ever-changing landscape, man, especially in the digital world where I've lived only. I do no print at all. And so it's that concept of print marketing. While I say what I say about it, sometimes there's a time and place where it will be the best thing in the world. And I think maybe the future is, and this is a question I'm going to ask you next, is it a combined form of, call it experiential, digital, and brand? I think there's just going to have to be a combination. So you're going to have print. You're going to have to always, forever.
Yeah.
You're going to always have to have some way to connect socially, because that is how people are connecting these days. It's search or social on the web. So it's just an ever-changing landscape to me, fluctuating attention. And the moment that you stop innovating or stop pushing is another moment that you're a competition. Well, you guys don't have any real competition. I do. The moment I stop, they're moving forward. So it's just a constant battle, So again, let's see here. I have another good question for you. We're going to switch gears here, because this is going to be a fun one. What, sir, pizza man, is your favorite style of pizza? And we'll switch gears again back into the marketing world, but you got to lighten it up, man. Tell me, what's your favorite? Because it's something I just don't know.
I would say that my favorite styles, there's a tie between New York style in my favorite pizza. There was one pizza, or the first pizza that I ate that almost made me cry, was Totonno's Pizza in New York on 2nd Avenue. And
Yum, made you cry, man.
Of course, they had a charcoal oven, or a coal oven rather, and so that was their secret. But I mean, Lombardi's has coal ovens. A lot of people have coal ovens, and I loved that pizza so much that when I went back there a couple of years later, it still tasted mind-blowing. And usually you think, in your memory, your memory is better than your actual experience. But that wasn't the case. So that was my favorite pizza up to that point. Now, my other favorite pizza is a Milwaukee bar pizza, and maybe that's because I grew up in Milwaukee during the 70s, and was in the Coast Guard at the time, and I associated beer with pizza, and the pizza just tasted really good. But I've been back since then, and it's still really great. I love the workman, the blue collar veggie combinations of canned mushrooms, which doesn't seem glamorous, but when they're spread on a nice thin crust, they're crunchy. It's a different kind of experience altogether. But those are my two favorite feel good pizzas.
I like that. Now, for anyone watching out there, I want you to leave in the comments after hearing that. If you have pizza later today, you better let me know in the comments. I just want to count later on. I'll wait for a couple of days to come back and check, but I just want pizza now. All right, we're going to get into some questions from your audience over here. Brian's always coming through, the voice of pizza. All right, so the question that we're going to be asking here is, what is the best marketing strategy for a brand new operation today? So that's a great one. How about you drop some knowledge on us for this question, man?
I think the formula that I've always used is probably the same. What is the best formula for a pizzeria is you want to spend a visit in your area and drive around your delivery area if it's a delivery, or be familiar with your territory and see what kind of customers you have.
Mm-hmm.
See where the hospitals are. Check out the nursing stations, the fire stations. Those will be future good customers for you. I would go into grocery stores. I would walk around. I would go into a grocery store and I would talk to the manager of the grocery store and ask them, how do you communicate with your customers? And they, at the time when I did this, there were weekly magazines or shoppers. So I really wanted to get into the area. You might want to do a survey. Maybe you can do a digital survey. I used to do telephone surveys to see who my competition was. I would call people and say, who's got the best pizza in town or something like that. And then I would identify who the strongest people were. And that would kind of help me figure out what my message was. But there's two pieces to the puzzle when you develop a strategy. One is your information delivery system. In other words, your messengers. How are you going to get messages to people's brains? And that I would go with physical basics. I would do door hangers. I would do direct mail. I would still do box topping, but I would also absolutely do digital and try to connect them in a database at some point. Or even if you can't, you can at least communicate to digital customers digitally, and you can communicate with your other people on paper.
It's so many great points right there. I want to just hop in and say, with the mailer piece, I've seen a lot of, this is pizza specific, a lot of pizzerias use mailers. And when they see someone bring the thing in, there's no denying it worked, but unfortunately, I think that so many times, even if for the half a second, oh, that looks awesome, if they don't act now or have like in my house, we call it a junk drawer, where you put all the things where we don't really want to throw them away yet, but like you don't want them right now. That's where we'll go look for coupons. My wife's so good about saving us money. I'm horrible at that. But the direct mail can work. Now, when I say combine things on my end, it's as simple as adding a prominently placed QR code, you guessed it, into it's a digital doorway, somewhere, whether it's your website, which it gets them somewhere else other than they've got point A. Now they're point B on your website. Maybe they can order. That's point C conversion. But for me, I'm going to the bot. I want to know the person. Yeah. That actually tells you whether they buy it or not. If you use the bot, for example, and you guys use TTT, if they get the mailer and it has the QR code and it goes to your Tap the Table account, you know who they are. You know that as Steve Green opened his mail at 4:32 when he got home from work, he scanned the QR code that said, "Scan me for your chance to win free pizza for 1 year." This math equation, you're going to have people that scan it. Then you're going to know them. They might not buy anything, right? It's hard to get, that much action on the first date. It is. But you might You might go all the way there and get some people to buy some pizza from you, right? Either way, you're in their life now. And I think until you screw it up, you have a great way to consistently have a conversation with that customer that does lead to a conversion, even from a mailer. So, digital works in so many ways in conjunction with the physical that it just can't be left out.
Yeah.
Let's see. We've got another one up here.
Well,
let's see. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go right ahead. Spotlight on you, baby.
Because I think that's where I'm leading into. Nowadays, you hear a lot of people. I believe in a balance between print and digital for this reason. For this reason, it's think of hunting and fishing. If you're only going to fish, that's what digital marketing is, because you only have people in there that are voluntarily in your group or are already connected you in a possible digital way. For you to find, so what you do is you put a hook in the digital pond and you wait for bites, and you can send back to them too. Once you've captured them, then you have them in your digital world, and then you can not only broadcast to them, but you can communicate with them. Now, what about all the people that aren't connected with your particular digital group? Well, for those, you have to hunt them down. They're they're not in the pond. They're moving around in random ways. And unfortunately, those people aren't known digitally. They haven't been identified digitally. So the strategy is always to physically go after people, hunt them down, and get them in your digital pond. And then you'll be able to, that's where the combination works.
So good, man. Sass, you just slam dunk here. This is another question. This was from one of your folks on your audience when Brian's putting it in for us. The best avenues what are the best avenues of marketing for someone trying to raise lagging sales? Discounts, weekly specials, or what do you think there, man? It's a good question. When their sales suck, what do you do?
Well, first of all, you want to find out. That's you want to know what the problem is. Why are their sales down? If their sales are lagging now, maybe this person isn't doing carry out or something.
Exactly. I think that's a good point. For you have to. That's why professionals exist.
Yeah.
That if it was so easy, if your sales suck, do this. If it was that easy, I wouldn't be here. Neither would you. Truthfully,
it is like well, you can't just say, well, do more advertising or repeat your message more often or make 100% of everybody know what your message is. If the message to them is, oh yeah, that's that place that doesn't have a good pizza. You can't fix that. You can't fix a bad product with marketing. Yeah, you can't. That's right. Yeah, you can probably accelerate your demise by marketing.
I disassociate with business like that. I don't take every client, thankfully, and you probably don't take every advertiser that tries to come to PMQ, and you're probably very careful with your audience, with that.
Especially when they have money.
It's like, do you take the money and do the evil thing?
We have turned down some people before, but we hate to do that. Every once in a while,
but
the brand bogus. They might have a bogus product or something. The
moment you have a fraudster that PMQ endorses on your stuff, it's over. You know what I mean? So brand is so much more important than a dollar. Long term, so much more important, at least to me, in short term. But anyways, we have more questions. This is awesome. I think this is the most questions I've had sent in the show live. Most of the people that watch on my side, they're on the opposite side of the world, from the Netherlands to the UK to, all the way to frickin' Africa, man. It's so fun. Here's a good question. Let's see here. What's the best integration of marketing with digital? What's the best system? What is the best integration of marketing with digital for operators today? What is the bare minimum infrastructure? So we actually talked about this on the podcast with my good friend from Hua, David, who's like seriously the only chatbot builder in Cuba, because digital marketing is so new. They just got access to the internet recently. I think that the idea of, on our side in America, it's obvious you need a website. You have to have a website, right? I don't know of anyone that thinks of phone book first anymore, but that used to be what it is. You have to have a phone book listing. Now, I think people here, you assume they have a website. If they don't have a website, it's like, all right, are they legit or not? But you have to also have social of some sort, because, and I'm not going to say you have to have Facebook or you have to have Instagram. Choose whatever fits. Facebook's usually the easiest one, or Instagram, but
Yeah.
the search side of things is really the phishing that I think, you hit on perfectly. If you're running Google ads, Google is not coming up in between your girlfriend's post and your grandma's post on Facebook. You're not, that's search. It's so specific on this. That's why social kills it. The awareness just boom in your face. It's like the billboards that you'd be driving down on the internet seeing. You're just seeing them on your phone instead. So I think you have to have in the US a website, even if it's just to stay legitimate, and you have to have social media of some sort to build the awareness. If they don't know you exist, they don't know how to search for you potentially. And that's my case. But Steve, let's hear your thoughts.
I just thought it was interesting. You mentioned everybody needs to have a website. We still have about 10% of our readers that don't have websites, but they have Facebook.
Yes, and that was David's point. It's so interesting.
Yeah.
It's so interesting that we're seeing
everybody
that.
has to have a home. They have to have a findable digital presence.
It's so true. And it's interesting for me to think, and I said it, and I thought that I was going to eat my words for the first. When you go live, man, you can't cut the thing you said out. So it's really scary. I blanked out for the first time ever. I saw 10 seconds yesterday with David on the podcast. But for me, it's so important to know what the goal is of what you're doing online in the first place. If some people think, if you build it, they will come. Well, that's true in some cases. If you're a brand new pizzeria, no brand support of any sort except what you are bringing to the table, and you just have a website, no one knows to search you. The odds of Google ever ranking you are zero, because no one's going to your website. So Google doesn't even understand. Right. So on the digital front, on the awareness side, while I don't typically recommend for a restaurant to use TikTok, for example, depending on what the concept is, and if that's the means that they want to build the awareness, it can work. Because social media, even though things are platform specific, what's to stop me from sharing a link from Twitter to Facebook and a YouTube video to Twitter, for example? Instagram locks things down pretty well, but social is meant to be social and shared. And hey, this exists. Buy it, look at it, check it out. I think. But again, I think you'd have to go with the human touch. There's nothing that's going to beat. As much as I love my automation, when I'm responding to comments and stuff, and shout out to Lauren Wiggins, who's our copywriter, nothing beats the personal touch. As good as I think I am, and as good as my automation is, a human salesperson, when they're competing head-to-head, one-on-one, no comparison. Human's going to win. Human will win. Now, when you compare that one human to 1,000 people in a day, that's when things are different. But you guys are on that board too. You guys actually use my app, and I want to hit on that just for a second before we get back into another question, because dude, we're gonna take up all your time, and this is costing me a lot of money, guys, to get Steve on the show. It's like breaking the bank for the month. Can I not say that? There's a lawyer there. I'm washing time for you. Don't worry. What do you think, as someone that's seen so many methods of marketing, from the door hangers to your digital to now we're in the world of automation and chatbots, and specifically Tap the Table, because that's what you guys use. What do you think? What are your initial thoughts of Tap the Table and what it can do, and what Ingrid's been able to do? I remember calling you up a couple of weeks ago, holy crap, what did Ingrid, who's doing this for you? She's just killed it. What are your thoughts though on what the capabilities are these days?
I think when I saw what you did, I found you from a guy who told me about this guy that I should be talking to.
Shout out,
I
Chad.
talked to him for about, whoever it was. Yeah, shout out Chad.
Chad Horn.
Chad Horn. Okay. So I'm talking to Chad Horn, and I got a hold of him because I heard him on a podcast, and he was talking about all the upper integrations of the pizza industry, and that's what I want to know about. I want to know about integrations. And then he said, you know what? I think you need to talk to Ryan Baggott. He's my marketing guru.
Chad.
He called you his guru. And
Shout out to Chad from It's a Checkmate, by the way, because that's he's so awesome. Chad, I hope you watch this. I know you're busy and you have lots of kids and stuff, but you're the man, Chad. Miss you.
Yeah. I after talking to Chad, I thought this guy really knows what he's talking about.
Text him right now.
Get a hold of Ryan. And so I got a hold of you, and then it turned out that you guys are on the same plane, or I don't know. You're in a different plane altogether. I think you got the coolest for what's happening right now, marketing opportunity. I think chat boxes, the way you've been able to interact with Facebook, is just really the great moment of our time right now in marketing.
That's wow. I appreciate
that's where
that.
The spotlight is. Yeah, and it's so compatible with everything. We're using that as the heart of our Pizza Vegan strategy, where we're registering people and developing a, if they have an interest in vegan pizza, we're collecting that and putting it into a database and, using it, getting some information from Facebook because they've played this game or taken a quiz. And it's a great way to meet people, meet customers, and be able to stay connected to them. And these 100%. Are people that want to stay connected to you because they're vegan. They have an interest in pizza and vegan. And so we want to remember that. We'll put them, with the right tag where they came from.
Look at you, tag right with the right tag. Y'all hear this guy?
Our customers. Yeah.
Man, let me tell you, this guy, he just used a TTT term, y'all. He said, we tag these folks. They like vegan pizza. So we make sure, basically, they're never going to see something not vegan. They're so specific and so niched out. Man, that just made my day. He said he tags people. Ingrid tags people. We know that.
TTT stands for tag.
Check this out right here. Omni-channel marketing. That's what we're talking about here. Meet the customer where they want to be met. It's not rocket science. If they want to only converse with you with email, then so be it. Screw any other method for that individual. But your other 39,999 plus people, they might want to receive Facebook messages and Instagram posts and stories and text messages. Hint, hint, it's coming PMQ. He already told me. Text messages coming to PMQ. Steve told me.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, thank you. And that's part of the TTT technology.
It is. And I think it will work great. When
you look at Domino's, what they're doing right now, they have what they call omni ordering. And
I like that. Ooh, they patent that trademark.
It includes all the different ways people want to. And I know 2 years ago we did research, or we reported on research in one of the Power reports, that a majority of consumers wanted to be able to order a pizza by text. So texting is important. Voice and text are really just audio and text. They're like brothers.
They sure are.
Right? Voice and text. Pretty interchangeable. So you can communicate with people beginning with text and end with voice, or start with voice and end with text, or
exactly. I want to touch on that. You hit such a great point. I don't even know if you know this much yet, but it's very cool. With Tap the Table, when someone is your Facebook or Instagram subscriber, meaning they've got into your list, if they whether they came in from a comment or they're texting you because they saw an ad somewhere, text pizza to blankety blank, whatever your phone number is. I know you have several phone numbers in Tap the Table. I don't know which one to throw on the screen. It could actually, instead of charging you for every text message back and forth, even though they're so cheap, it'll trigger automation to say, this person is already in our database as a Facebook subscriber. Let's send them a Facebook message because it will save PMQ money. And it's more dynamic. You can have buttons, you can have videos, So
bring it on, Ryan.
It's, I've thought of, for me, I just want to solve the problems. And I hope that the more problems that I'm able to solve, just the better off everyone is, including myself. But what I found is, there's so many people that need to read PMQ more and listen to your stuff more because they don't have strategies yet. They don't have a good plan. They just have a great product, and that's been enough.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, now where, in my opinion, businesses have been able to scrape by, like, oh, listen, my steak's so good, I don't need Facebook, Ryan. I've had, those kind of conversations. I'm not going to ever disagree with someone like that. But in this day and age, I'm not saying I like it, that with the stuff going on, you have to have an online presence or you will fail.
Yeah, that's for sure.
All right, we got a couple more questions. I know I'm going to be cautious of your time. One more question, at least from the audience. Let me pick a good one from that Brian sent in. Let's see. Last part. It's like, okay, here we go. Let's see. He's saying some funny stuff. I got to be careful what I put in here. The last part of the question is, or maybe the dotted line. So he sent in a YouTube video. We can't put that on the screen. It's Restream's not built for that. Last part of that question, or is it maybe what's the dotted line method? Do you know what he's referring to there, Steve? What, or maybe the dotted line method? What's that?
That question is maybe.
I'm not sure what that is.
To the dotted line question, or maybe the dotted line method. I'm not sure what that means.
I should throw Brian on here, man. Brian, come on, I'll throw you right on here. I ain't scared. Either way, let's wrap it up here, Steve, because I know you're a busy man. I want to ask you this: marketing influences in your life. I have one that I mention almost every episode.
You put your price on there, but you put a dotted line around it, so it looks like your coupon.
Okay.
Is that considered?
Did you hear that? Oh, I don't know if you did. You want to say that?
Yeah, I was saying the dotted line method is something that I'd heard about. It's where you put your actual prices on the menu or a flyer, but you put a dotted line around it, so it looks like a coupon. Is that considered too shady? Because I know you were talking about that earlier. You got to be truthful. Yeah. I mean, that's why I was wanting to ask Steve what he thinks about. So here, I'm going to pass it back over to him real quick.
Yeah.
You got to join us, man.
I think that's a great way to graphically separate a message and let people know that this is a couponable offer, even though it might be in the middle of the page and hard to cut off. But certainly that's good.
For me, like I am that person where if I can order whatever the fastest, easiest way I can do something, I'm going to try to do it. Call it being lazy, call it being efficient. That's what I call it. Lazy people are efficient, not lazy. I might not necessarily see graphics at some point, even though I love seeing graphics and like effort put there. For example, I don't want to order food from a menu if I don't know what the food looks like in other restaurants on the platform. Show their food. It's like, well, why is this place not showing their food? Does it not look good? It might not taste good. So I think the customer journey is just so important. For me, if I saw the couponable permanent printed menu item, I'm not sure if I'd even recognize that because I'm just that's not the means that I typically use. Like at this point, everyone's doing the QR code menu at all the restaurants anyway, so I'm missing some of that. But I think that there's just brand specific things,
Let me answer one last question that I saw up there.
Yeah.
And that was, what's the best way to start a store? What marketing strategy would you recommend for a brand new store? And
well, that's what did we say that one for the door hangers? I think we might have hit that one already.
Well, what I'm just talking about is
go ahead.
Remember, there's messengers and then there's messages. So this is about the message, not the messenger.
Yes, slam dunk this.
So this is the message that you want to give. Be thinking. Always think that those are two separate things. Separate those when you're thinking about your strategy. Make sure that you keep track of what's the message and what's the messenger. So the message that you want to leave with your audience, with your delivery area, when you're done with your big grand opening, is that maybe there's 4 selling points that you want them to know. And so what I would do would be to take maybe 4 coupons. If you're going to have a coupon strategy, make those 4 coupons offers that highlight a real selling point about that pizzeria. For example, you could have a lunch special, which people will just remember that you're open for lunch. You can
Mhm.
have a $3 off
Yes.
if a missed delivery special, which tells people that you delivered.
Yes. Secret messaging.
And you may have one that is have our everything in the world on it.
Yeah. You just
coupon,
became aware.
And then they say, oh, wow. So you just want to make sure that you leave them little fragments that give them a positive feeling, but that they'll remember and maybe use that coupon. And if you're going to do a direct mail, do one with a magnet on the back.
Yes,
so that you
for
can stick
sure.
it on the refrigerator and have those 4 critical messages that people will remember. They'll remember one of those ideas about your store at the right time, and they'll come to you.
Man, that just gave me such a great idea. You know, QR codes are fun, but we all know Tap the Table is named after, in essence, NFC technology, right? So what they need to do in 2021, this is a great business idea for someone out there. And if y'all don't do it, I'll do it, because that's basically how it works these days. The magnet should totally have a QR code and an NFC and an NFC backing. So all they'd have to do is scan or tap. They could tap their refrigerator, now Domino's or whatever the pizzerias they're getting called.
Oh,
that's so cool.
Idea.
Yeah, totally, man. They're looking at that QR code all the time. Yeah, he's already thinking, all right, I'm going to call my guy here and that guy there. We're going to get the logistics done, and we'll have this thing done by lunch tomorrow, Ryan.
Right. Let's do it. Let's do it.
And I'll be your first to order.
Let's get someone who wants to be. Maybe there's somebody in our audience that wants to be the guinea pig that we can do a test on this. Try that idea out. And
I'll tell you what, you'll have a great place to run tests since you've got such a robust database built from TTT. Matter of fact, you could even sell the product through TTT if you didn't realize that. We had David, who I mentioned from Cuba, on the show yesterday. He pulled out a bamboo straw. You know how we have the metal reusable straws these days for, say, the sea turtles and stuff. He had a bamboo one, and he was telling me that the manufacturer, I work with some manufacturers as well, they're fun clients. The manufacturer of these bamboo straws were being sold on Messenger, Facebook Messenger, like we were selling pizzas, selling it through to the Cuban people there. It's so fun because it's so expensive for those folks to even have a website. It's not economical for them. Facebook's free, and so it makes so much sense, man. But dude, this has been a blast. I hope you've had fun. That's like the fastest hour ever.
Oh my God.
Your wife's gonna kill me whenever I come visit you guys for dinner in a couple months when it's okay to do that. I'm gonna fly out there. She's gonna be like, you've made him stay so late that podcast. No more podcasts. Yeah. But thank you so much, man. We've got to have you on again, and I hope to hang out with you guys too. And I hope old Brian will be a guest one day. I mean, he's just so fun. But you really are the man, Steve.
He's a real guy. He's a real pizza guy. He used to manage pizzerias. He's traveled around the world. He's been to China, to Italy, everywhere. For PMQ.
I do a little bit of camera work. I'll follow him around. We'll do some pizza vlogs. You know what I'm saying? I gotta make some money back. He's making sure that he knows I'm getting charged by the minute having you on this show.
Well,
so I'm up there
now. You'll get free pizza wherever you go. So that's good.
I bet neither one of you have paid for pizza in years. Does Ingrid know the trick yet? How to get the free pizza? You just have to pull out the PMQ card. It's VIP.
Just pull out the magazine and. No, it doesn't always work, damn it. I wish it did.
Well, you can flex your muscles, man. You have a lot of power with all those eyeballs. I'm happy to siphon some. Hopefully, I'll get some new subscribers on TTT. The ones that weren't lucky enough to already get the free accounts that you guys hooked them up with. We'll have to do something else eventually, man. The pizza vegan stuff is too fun.
Yeah.
You're not going to get rid of me that easy, bro. Yeah. You're not getting rid of me that quick.
Excellent. Good.
Well, Steve, thank you so much for having me, man, being on the show and having me on your show. And I hope you and the PMQ crew have an awesome rest of your week, guys. Thank you for watching. We will see you all next time. Thank you so much.